I would call different streams of discussion or whatever it may be, right? And then we were feeling enchanting, right? In the sense like we were feeling like more, happy or more, aggressive or whatever you can say. With all this, whatever the effort we so far put, we may able to excel, right? Get excelled in our career, or we can start show our talent or potential, or the learning what we have did. We are in a position to start convert it into something more meaningful, something more achievable, right? Hence we can exceed the market needs and even our goals also. It's not like we just have a goal limited, right? In the sense like we may have defined saying initially saying, hey, I just want to get an opportunity in a new career. That is not only our goal. Actually, we have to exceed our goal going forward by triggering the same way, in the sense like how you guys have put so far effort in the weekend or in the weekday, right? For very long term effort all of us can have put, right, for achieving something means this effort has to be continued a bit more also, or throughout our life also we can consider this as a kind of a effort what we have put. Okay, so in that way we can always exceed, we can always ensure like the way what we are doing, right, the activity what we are doing is exceeding the market needs, or it is going to exceed our goals also, right? Goals are defined, but that is not that does not have a limit actually. Even you can just exceed that limit of goal what you have defined with the knowledge what you have gathered, because market is that much open, right? We have a lot of opportunities. We don't have to stringently define something saying, hey, this is where like I am stopping, right? Even I heard from the people, usually they used to say, Irfan, let me stop with this pay what I'm getting. I don't want more than this. Let me just stop getting the offers with this one. Let me not go and get more offers, right? Like this, people used to define. But it is up to you to define, right, or exceed whatever you're getting. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. I'm finding like around maximum people are attending. Keep this up, guys. Like because we are going to see something exceeding steps. Okay, so let's treat it that way. Okay, fine. So if you just look at this, there is a kind of a QR code I have attached here. If you just download some app in your mobile phone, right, if you use some QR scanner, right, you can be able to see what is this QR is all about. It's all about our website. Okay, Inceptez website. It will be taking you to the Inceptez website if you scan this. You just download some software like QR scanner in your mobile phone, right, and scan this QR. You can able to see, go to our website. Okay, Inceptez is a company. Inceptez is a private limited company. Inceptez has some like website or whatever it may be. How you guys can define your own website, right? It's not like I'm going to make you guys sit and do some website creation. The website must be more meaningful for like showing some technical talents of you, right? So let's convert one of the site or one of the tool what you are going to learn in the near future called GitHub actually. So you might have heard about some tool called GitHub, right? So in that GitHub, you are going to place your code. If you remember long back, I asked you guys to put all your code in the collaborative directory, collaborative location of our shared drive, right? That code, you guys can take it into this, like your GitHub repository also. So that part we are going to discuss in a separate way, how to work in GitHub and all. I'm going to talk with you guys in a regular period of learning. But however, how like you can create your own QR code and mention it in your resume. See, nowadays companies or people are expecting you to be a bit modernized. It's not like they wanted you to be in the same way how we are doing. Okay, so they wanted to see something new from you. If they ask a question saying, hey, I'm getting this many number of people, right? This many number of people waiting in the interview panel, and what uniquely you can show something different, right? If somebody asks you in that way, right, we should be having some answer for that. How we can present that? We can't go and directly talk with them. For example, you are waiting in an interview panel, or you are waiting for like an interview where around 50 people are waiting in the queue. At that point of time, how an interviewer can pick your resume first, right? Like you can find a lot of people in the market who can call themselves as a kind of a big data professionals, but really how many people out of them are going to be selected, or going to be really a professional, big data professional is going to be very less actually. You can just count them. If I have 100 people, I can count 3 or 4 people may have a better knowledge in this, or maybe better suitable for the job opening what I have. And I wanted you guys has to be in that list actually, all of you, right? And keep that in mind. Like there are 1 lakh population is available in the IT market in Chennai. Let's assume in that way, right? We are going to be like maybe 500 to 1,000 out of that. So we must be get ready in that way. So out of 1 lakh resumes, if somebody is going to choose you, right? You have to be in that 500 or 1,000 list. Okay. So in that aspect, we are going to get ready. So let's progress inside to understand something. Okay. So hope you're able to see me, right? It's a long time I have seen all you guys. Okay. So let me just project my video for some period of time. So this might be more valid since we are going with this part, right? So my video may also require to address, right? Fine guys. So we are going to particularly look into this topic altogether. Okay. So 1 second. Okay. So altogether we are going to look into these topics. Like first of all, we must be get ready for explaining ourselves. In terms of self-explanation. So initially in the interview, when you just go and start attend, right? First, the time what will be given to you will be for explaining about yourself. So we have to, leverage the time in a much efficient way. I have seen in a lot of my interview experience who were explaining initially with aggressiveness, with the complete information of what they are doing, right? Without non-stopping. That means like, if I ask, hey, can you just explain about yourself, right? That they have to keep on talk, right, continuously in a meaningful way, in an understandable way, in an addressable way, or in an interesting way, right? That they have to talk about himself. Okay. So interesting way or an understanding way in the sense, if the interviewer is sitting in the opposite side, he must be in a position to get from that other person in the way how he understands. Whatever the knowledge he has, the interviewer has, in the sense, if I ask you to start explain, and if you are initially saying, hey, I'm Irfan having so and so years of experience, with that one you just jump into your project and the terminology what you are, you know in your project. If you start discuss about that, right, the interviewer might not be showing much interest. He will be immediately stopping you, saying, okay, fine, I got about you. I just talk about. Let's talk about something else. Let's go into the technology part. Rather than allowing the interviewer to go in that way, you just ensure like you are taking some time for explaining about yourself, where you are covering every part of whatever you wanted to cover. So that for that reason, right, you have to obviously prepare. You have to obviously get some preparation done at your home actually. So this is personally what I found, right? I was able to really get real value if you just prepare in that way. See, we are putting a huge hard effort, right? As such, I told you, we are so far putting a very hard effort of learning several parts in our in our whatever the course or in our throughout our lifetime, right? So let's think like this. We are putting maybe like if I have 10 years of experience, let's assume the past 10 years, day by day, I was putting a hard effort of ensuring like my manager is getting known of what I'm doing, or my clients are knowing, or my peers are knowing like I'm just doing something needful for the project, right? We are putting that effort on a daily basis. Why not we can put some smart effort for ourselves, not for others, not for my manager, not for my client, or not for my company, or not for my peers, right? I'm just going to put some smart effort for myself, right? These are all the smart efforts what you guys are going to put for you. So this is very, very important than like whatever the effort we put for showing something technically. So even I know like people who are all not so good in technical, right? By doing these kind of additional activities, right? So by ensuring like I just did some smart work, right? They are able to equally progress as like a person who have a very good knowledge technically from the base, right? So even I found like a lot of people in that way were progressing in the organization. So I'm not saying that is wrong actually. Doing some smart work is also good, but you must be loyal. It's not like doing always smart work and go, right? You have to be you have to put some hard work also, but smart work may really help us actually. So this is the smart work what we are going to do, right? That shows some significance. You want to be unique, right? You want to be smart enough. You want to be unique means you have to put all this smart effort and all together to make it more attractive, to make to ensure like you guys are ready for competition, right? To compete. You guys are going to be more smart, right? In that aspect, like we have to get ready. Okay, about you. The first question what interviewer will be asking you. Hey, tell me about yourself, right? This is the first question what everybody used to be asked. So I am just planning to cover this part, maybe like portion of this part or maximum of this part today, right? Today, unfortunately, it was, I was supposed to start by sharp 7 a.m., but it was crossed the time. I'm sorry for that. But however, like my machine was keep on waiting for starting. So I thought like it will be started, but fine, let it be, guys. So let's go with the about you part, okay? And I just want to put a caveat before going into it, right? So altogether, what you are going to see is majorly self-explanation. This is the part where you can take a lot of the time in the interview, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes you can take for explaining about this part itself in the interview. That is going to really, make the interviewer feel saying like, hey, I'm going to pick this guy. Let me just set in my mind. That automatic mindset you are going to create with this part alone, okay? So when after you speak, no, not really. When you propagate your resume to your whatever the companies at the time, and the see maybe several companies may go with initial screening of your resume. They like even I used to do daily. I may used to do an initial screening of resumes by saying like, hey, this resume whether it is a valid resume or not. I can just look at that resume and say, okay, this resume is having this person is having some real knowledge or not. Like preliminary screening we may be doing, but after we just get that resume and the start interview, we may get to know about whether he have really worked or not. That's a different story. But the resume itself, that makes me feel comfortable. Okay, this guy seems to be like somewhere unique, something he have, some other knowledge he have. He's not putting all the regular technologies or tools or streams of activity he's performing. He have mentioned something unique for him. So create that uniqueness for each and every one of you differently. Whatever I'm going to show is a kind of like a template. It's not like going to be you have to just copy the same thing and you have to put it in your resume. Okay, be very clear in that. Okay, but I'm showing you some example how you can put. Okay, so let's discuss about that part initially. Then we are going to talk about some common interview questions. These interview questions may make everyone stand still. Anybody you are going to attend in an interview, if they ask, hey, can you tell me some performance tuning what you did, some challenges what you faced in your project, can you tell me what are the roles and responsibilities that you play on a daily basis? You are working for about 9 to 10 hours in a day. What do you do in that 9 to 10 hours? You always sit and code? No, not really, right? So you have to just be in a justified situation or justification situation to say what you are doing on a daily basis, and what is your cluster size, what is your versions you are using. Like lot of questions may be asked. I used to cover this in a very short span of time for about 2 to 3 hours in the regular session what I'm engaging, right? But I don't wanted to do that in that way. All this stuff, maybe even I can cover all this in 1 or 2 hours in the or 3 hours in the regular session also. But I wanted you guys to spend this time maybe for 2 hours or for 2 weeks or so, right? Let's spend some additional time. Then we can cover something in our regular session also. I'm not bothering about it. But however, I want this to be taken separately so we can spend some timing, like additional timing, since we have this option of online, right? I wanted to just take all this stuff in a separate sessions, okay? So this is a separate part of discussion what you have to do. This is more of related to technology. And what are all the value additions, right? In addition, you have did all these are regular activities. Let's say in that way. Tell me some, futuristic thing what you have did in your organization. Tell me something explicit what you have did, right? So some automation did you do, or some frameworks did you created, right? Tell me something more meaningful what you did for your organization. I'm not just saying like you guys have to be ready for answering all this in an extensive way. At least you can say I just did this portion of stuff in my organization. As a framework, I just created a very simple portion. Like if you are going to explain, means this is a value addition what you can add in your resume. Not only in your resume. I'm not talking all together about your resume. I'm just going to, I'm just talking about what you can answer in these cases and all. If some common interview question asks means, how do you answer? If they ask, hey, tell me like what are the value additions you made in your project or in your organization? Just tell me something. Like in that case, you can say I'm involving in these stuffs or that stuff like that, and all you can say. Okay, let it be. Some additional knowledge, what organization expects, saying, hey, do you know the SQL? Do you know databases? Do you know like doing some shell scripting, right? Some RPA activity, robotic process automation activity. Can you just tell me like that if they ask you? So it is good to have or some additional knowledge if you have and say specifically, yeah, I'm good in this part, right? Then we can just discuss about this part separately. I just wanted to go, right? Maybe like you can cover, we are going to cover this either in our regular class or in the additional session what we are engaging here. That's fine, whichever is fine. Interview discussion and ecosystem priority. Okay, so I separately wanted to go through with all the ecosystems what we have so far learned, right? I just wanted to take maybe revisit about scoop. Guys, what are the topics we have seen in scoop? What are all important in that? You can't if I ask you guys, can you tell me the scoop command to incrementally pull the data, or to add the batch mode option, or to add the fetch size option? You might not be able to immediately get what is that concept is all about. If I ask you to just talk about boundary query, right? You might not be able to recall. Let me take some time for quickly recalling about all this part, right? Importantly, on the by prioritizing the ecosystems. So we can talk about Scoop, Hive, right? Or Spark, like some of the important tools. But though I am going to cover all the tools, but just by saying that these are all the topics what you have discussed. In this one, you can just say these are all some important topics you can just think about, you keep it in your mind when you prepare for the interview. But major tools, right? These are all the tools. It may be expected in the interviews. They may be starting with Scoop, Hive, then they may go into Spark, or they may directly go into Spark, having in mind saying, you know, already Scoop and Hive, you have worked in your environment. Like this, anything might have happened, okay? So in this one, it is included, like the MR or Yarn or HDFS are all included in this. It's not like you got to separately say, you know, like I know HDFS, how to work in HDFS. You don't have to say that. It is included already, okay? So the ecosystems priority we are going to see, which one has to be prioritized more, which one has to be prepared with what topics that we are going to cover. This and all I don't usually give in the previous batches and all, okay? That's fine. So let's talk about some SQL or data warehouse concepts, some Linux shell scripting, something I have exposed as a kind of recordings, but something whatever I haven't exposed also, I'm just planning to cover for you guys, okay? So let's plan for that accordingly. Let's go into the part of discussion, okay? So what I'm going to show you guys, right? Let me just show you very quickly about like what you are going to see, okay? 1 second, guys. Okay, so you are just going to explain about yourself, right? Can you tell me about yourself? How you can start it and what you can define? If you define before going and explaining about yourself, right? Definitely you can able to start express in a continuous way. If you just prepare something like this, what I'm expecting from you is for you guys, you just prepare something like this. This is the presentation I prepared for you guys for by taking my experience or whatever the knowledge as an example. Okay, I mentioned my experience and streams of knowledge what I have, my domain background what I have worked with so far, and my data management technique knowledge whatever I have, and my the architecture knowledge what I have so far worked, and the projects what I mean, projects means this is a separate part we have to discuss, but I can quickly say okay, at least the most recent project I can explain, right? And I'm going to explain more in terms of these terminologies like domain or streams or the data management technique that I used in my project. So this is what I'm just going to explain initially when I've been given with the time of saying, hey, can you explain about yourself? Let me just cover this, just to show you guys. I'm going to talk about how do you guys can create your own profile, right? You have to have your own identity. How you are going to prepare something like this? I'm just going to talk about this. Then you can just mention what are the tools you are familiar with. You can create some infographics. This is called infographics. Organizations are the interviewer who is going to interview you may think like saying, hey, why not I can prepare my resume in this way, right? That part you guys are going to you guys are going to bring in the mind of the interviewer. Okay, let's progress in that way. daily roles and responsibilities, how much proportion I may do on a daily basis. You can add more here actually. I just given some sample here. Okay, let it be. How do you create your own profile? How do you go and create your own QR code? How do you attach that? How do you just get some, like interview, some templates of resumes are being built, right? What are the sample resumes that I'm going to provide you guys? You guys can make use of these resumes as per your whatever the domain background. So these are all a kind of a resume building activities we are going to do, right? Including, like, I'm going to mention you guys saying about you, how you mention in your resume in the top, in the initial, in the profile or in the about you part in the resume, how you start with. These are all the possible ways you can mention. It's not like always limited to say only you have to mention in this way. You can mention any of the other way also, but this is the possible way what you can mention. And what is your professional summary you are going to mention, right? There are different way. I'm just mentioning here and there, okay? And what are the projects you can mention, right? Banking project or telecom project or healthcare. Like I have taken some common projects also over here. And what are the achievements you have made, certifications you have made, or what about your educational details, or personal details? You can mention all of them. So this is the part what I want to initially cover to you guys before going to the next level of what the common interview questions, all this stuff. Before going into this part, first I want to build a profile for you, right? And this I wanted to do it from now itself. I want you guys to, after you complete this hackathon, right? After you submit it by Friday, you guys are going to create your own self document about yourself, okay? With respect to your personal thing, your personal in the sense your knowledge base or your background information and everything. So I may help you guys reviewing that as well, okay? So I'm just going to commonly talk about this. Just don't be specific. You may have 1 year experience, or you may be a 0 year experience candidate, or you may be 20 year experience candidate also, or 24 years experience candidate also, like Ravi. I'm not sure about it, but this is my experience level. I'm just mentioning it over here just for your understanding purpose of saying, okay, how you can just explain about yourself. Okay, this I'm not saying like you guys have to put this in your resume. I'm not. This is not a resume part. This is a part what you are preparing for you. One page of content you are preparing for yourself to explain in the interview more efficiently. You are going to explain in the interview saying, hey, I'm Irfan, working in so-and-so company in ABC, right? Having 16.5 years of overall experience, predominantly in the data warehousing, database development, application development, etc. With 6+ years of extensive experience in the full stack big data development, right? In the part of data engineering, solution architecting, or development or analysis of data, with a very sound knowledge in handling of streams such as batch, in-memory, real-time streaming, fast data processing, or building of data lake, or migration, consolidation, or lift and shift of systems on-premise or within cloud, right, or between on-premise and cloud, or managing a kind of a hybrid environment. All these I have just made, right? This you are going to explain immediately, right? When the interviewer is giving you a time of saying, can you explain about yourself? So what can be given first, what can be given second, that is the part I'm just mentioning over here. So my name, after that my company name, and the total years of experience. Here we have a caveat, you can just either explain the total years of experience first, or you can say, I have overall this much years of experience, not saying about this background, right? If you have a background of saying like support, or if you are having a background of management, don't stress that initially. Just say, hey, I have overall 16+ years of experience, out of which for about the past 6 years or 3 years or 2 years, I'm working in the big data platform. Depends upon your experience level. So if I have 16 years, means it is valid for mentioning 5 years or 6 years of my experience in the big data. But if you are having around 5 years of experience, you can mention I have 3 years of experience or 2.5 years of experience in big data. That's up to you to mention actually. This is an example I'm giving. Even 16.5 years of experience candidate, if you mention as 4 years in big data, means that is also fine. Companies are ready to accept you. But 6 years is the progress time of this big data platform. I know, right? From 2003 or 4 only, every organization started bringing big data platform in their organization. So not more than 6 years you can mention. If you are going to mention more than 6 years, means you have started at that time. You may say like I did only POC before that. You can't say I have some projects implemented. The past 5-6 years only, you can see a lot of projects are been implemented in the organization. So be very clear in the maximum cutoff limit of how much years of experience you are going to put in your big data platform. Okay, but however, depends upon your current experience. You can mention if you are a experienced person with 3 years, right? You can just say, I have overall 3 years of experience in big data itself. Out of my whole experience, I have been working. I'm working in big data only, but I have some knowledge in the other platform also. If you are a kind of a tester, if you are a kind of a like a SQL developer, or if you are a kind of a data warehouse person, you can say like I have the knowledge in application development or SQL development or support or whatever it may be. Also, including that, I'm working this big data for a very long time, for this whole 3 years. That one is negligible. That part I used to do, but it's not a full part. I majorly work in big data. Like this, you can just define yourself by saying the experience level. Okay, if you are not from a kind of a strategic, like experience, like something like data warehouse or application development, or like something like kind of like innovative technologies, right? If you are not already in that traditional technologies, means you can mention something like saying you don't have to mention that. If you are not in the technical part, if you are not in the, if you are in the support part, if you are in the testing part, you can just mention even sometime. But because finding a big data tester is a big challenge, I found actually. We were trying to get some big data testers, right? We were finding very hard. We are ready to pay any amount, but they are not available in the market. In the sense, they either know testing but not big data. Okay, they know big data, they know testing, but they don't know how to perform some automation, some coding in the like you are just going to only do the just mere testing, right? It's all about you are going to do coding also. So guys, 1 second. I found 100 people reach. It supports more than 100 or not. I have to check 1 second. So guys, anybody of you you facing any problem in not able to join?
Probably you can check WhatsApp, Sirfan. Somebody can ping you.
No one seems to be like asking, because I reached 100 people. I have one more, like WebEx also. I have the link available, but okay, let me see today, right? Let me just progress with this today, and tomorrow I may see like if needed, I can expose that WebEx also, so you guys can join in both any of the bridge. Okay, let it be, guys. Okay, so I'm trying my level best, guys, to make this more efficient. And thanks for nearly 100 people joining. Okay, so even I thought of exposing this to my whole batch also, but that's fine. Like let me go with this one for now. Later I can schedule for the whole batch separately in a different session. Okay, that's fine, guys. So so next one, you can explain about your domain expertise, right? So you can just say about like I'm just exposed to the domain of like whatever banking or what all the domains you have worked actually, banking domain or finance domain or telecom domain, media, healthcare, logistics. Like you can mention all the domains what you guys have worked as well in your so far experience. Okay, I'm Irfan, working in so-and-so company, having 16 plus years of experience, overall experience, out of which 6 plus in the extensively working in the big data platform, and I have worked in batch, in-memory, real-time streaming, and so on. So streams in the domains such as banking, finance, telecom, media, healthcare, and logistics domains, where I have managed data in several ways, right? I have handled the heterogeneous data, right, of type CSV, fixed width, or JSON, or XML, Avro, or sequence, or ORC packet, transcript logs, or such kind of unstructured data like a transcript data. As such, I told you, right? Even you have video logs. I worked in video logs. I worked in audio data. I worked in the chat data. These three are the major data what I have personally worked. Altogether, I'm just mentioning it in the name of transcripts. I'm mentioning that in the name of just transcripts. Transcripts means you can just call all of them as a kind of an unstructured data. It could be audio data, or it could be a video logs, or it could be your text data also. You guys are working in this hackathon, right? In that one, you are seeing the chat transcripts, what people are typing in the chat window. There is a transcript actually. Think like this: you are speaking in the voice, right, over the call center. That voice can be converted into text also. That also you can call it as a transcripts. Okay, so if you are watching some channel in your TV, right, that channel is generating some logs actually. Video means don't think like you are going to analyze the video. Your system is not having intelligence to analyze the video. Rather, what you can do, you can understand some pattern out of it. Any data that you are going to pass to your system is going to be digital data. Any data, that it could be a video or audio or any data set, that is going to be passed as an image data or whatever it may be, it is going to be passed as a digital data. The digital pattern can be identified not by big data. See, we don't have any libraries available in Spark or Hadoop or anywhere else to handle this kind of data. The libraries will be taken from outside only. So for example, if you are going to handle, I may show you guys sometime later, how you are going to handle the Twitter data. The Twitter data, what you guys have seen, how do we acquire, right? How do we process the Twitter data? By using some ML libraries, by using some, like a Stanford University provided natural and language processing library, NLP library. I'm going to show you guys sometime later. But, that kind of activities, if you are going to do, means you can call all of them as a kind of a common data, transcript data. Even you guys can put in your resume saying, I have handled some chat transcripts. How? The hackathon, what you guys have did, right? That is an example for that. If you guys have did a project number 1, 2 and 3, right, where we calculate the frustration of the customer by just identifying like some general feedback text what they have typed, right, or the agent they have typed, or the marketing person have typed. Those data and all you can even manage. You can say like I work in the web service data, right, socket data or message queues data. From the cloud storage, you guys are going to learn soon. In the near future, you guys are going to get the data from the cloud storage also. I'm not saying you guys have to mention all this, right? Whichever you are feeling comfortable. You are feeling comfortable to pick the data from RDBMS, mention that. If you are okay for reading and writing the data from the NoSQL, mention that. If you are not good with reading or writing the data from the message queue, leave that. Don't mention. I'm not saying you have to mention all of this, but based on the experience level, you have to put your bit higher level of efforts. I'm finding that in both of the badges, like the experienced people are putting their equal effort. That is happening for sure. So that effort is really needed, actually speaking. Okay. So Selva, I'll just address. Okay, I'll address the questions, guys. Give me some time. Okay. So you can just put in your resume as per the knowledge what you guys have gathered. If you're confident enough, you can just put all this experience what you guys have gathered in terms of the data management techniques. Okay. Architectures worked. What are all the architectures I have worked? So far, you guys have an understanding of something called master-slave architecture and peer-to-peer architecture. So master-slave is the one what you can use. See how you can just mention, I know the master-slave architecture. You can just say, like I'm working in, Hadoop cluster, right? That is a master-slave architecture. Or Yarn, it is a master-slave architecture. Peer-to-peer, which is a typical example for peer-to-peer is your Kafka, right? What is a spokes and hub architecture? What is Lambda architecture? What is Kappa architecture? I'm yet to discuss about this. I'll be discussing about this part separately in a very technical part. Okay. So still we have to just think about or know about this part and all. We are we are in a early stage to discuss about this. I have to still talk about this. What is spokes and hub or Lambda or Kappa architecture? You can mention these are all the architectures I worked. Even the interviewer may think, hey, I know Lambda. What is Kappa? I know spokes and hub, but what is this? I mean, I don't know spokes and hub. I know maybe master slave, or even I'm not very clear about peer-to-peer. He's mentioning something. I heard about some the peer-to-peer, but I'm not very clear about it. Even the interviewer might be thinking that way. So you are just initially hitting the interviewer by saying, hey, like I worked in all this. Don't worry about this. Saying, hey, if I mention all this, whether the interviewer may ask some question very tricky, more related to this. Though he asks, let's be prepared on that. Let us prepare on that. How? We have learned everything. See, usually people used to learn everything, right? People used to know about all this, but without substituting, this is where it fit actually. Knowing where the part what you have learned is fit is a big challenge actually. So already they have learned. See, people may say, I know Kafka. Do you know any peer-to-peer architecture? No, I'm not sure about what is that architecture you're asking. Kafka falls under the peer-to-peer architecture, but they will not be knowing like it fits under Kafka. I mean, the Kafka fits under peer-to-peer architecture. You are with me? So even the interviewer will also be like that, right? So you can just hit saying like, hey, like I have learned the things or I worked in the things by understanding what it is doing. Okay, that's the real part of our explanation. So all these are going to speak for you, or you are going to explain immediately when the question is being asked, saying, hey, can explain about yourself. Okay, these are all the experience level. This is the streams of technology I worked, or streams of managing the data I worked, or domains. These are all I worked. These are the data management techniques I worked. These are all the architectures I worked. And let me explain about the project, or you can automatically explain about your project, or see, this is going to take maybe 5 minutes of time or 10 minutes of time when you explain. Slowly, we are going to explain all this, right? If the interviewer is not asking you to stop, if he is still listening, or he's just looking at you, okay, let you explain like that. You can start explain. You need to have something other stuffs to explain. Maybe saying like, hey, I used to play these roles and responsibilities in my daily stage. I may just, I'm working in a so-and-so big cluster of having this much sized data. In that one, we are going to discuss in the part of like cluster sizing. You can just see here. I'm working in so-and-so big cluster by having this many number of nodes, right? Having this much volume of overall volume and the growth rate of this much. Like this, you are going to discuss about it actually. You guys are going to talk about that in the next subsequent, discussion what you are going to do. If the interviewer is saying like, hey, you stop with this, let it be, let me ask question now, right? Okay, so I got enough from you about yourself. Even you may stop you in between also. Don't just worry about it, let him stop, that's fine. He might have got something from you. Hey, if I allow him, he keep on speaking, let me stop him. Let's take the interview of asking the question from my side rather than allowing him to speak. But if you get a chance to speak, just be thorough, just take your own time, continuously speak until he stops, right? That's what one of the strategy what I found from the people, right? Somebody will be non-stoppable actually. But you must be relevant to what you are discussing. It's not like somebody used to answer something else. Even the interviewer used to confuse. Hey, he's answering something seems to be like here and there he's touching the screens, the technology, whatever I'm expecting, but he's not very clear. That is the way people used to even act smartly. Okay, don't try to do it that way and all. Just go with the actual way. Just be defined that. Just explain what you are. Expected to explain, but like you don't stop. You until the interviewer asks you to stop. Don't stop. Don't stop and wait for the interviewer to ask the next question. You continuously start answer. How you can be prepared in that way? That is where the preparation what you are going to do. If you just create some document like this for your own, right? You mention you substitute your whatever the domains and everything, and be ready with the document for you. Explain about yourself means explain about Selva, explain about Karthik, explain about like Arvind, explain about Venkatesh, right? If I just create a document like that way for your own, if you are going to create something like this, then it is going to be useful for you. Okay, projects. Just explain the most recent project what you are doing, right? If he is not asking the question, right? Further to that, if he is allowing you to go means, you can ask saying, hey, can I explain about my project? Or you can just start explain about your project saying, hey, this is the project right now I'm working. Or these are all the roles and responsibilities I play on a daily basis. These are all the, like this is my cluster size. Like this, you can subsequently explain rest of the other part also. Even the interviewer is not going to ask you because the time given to you is precious. You have to prove as much as you can, right? So let's take it that way. The next one, project you are going to explain. But before that, like we are going to see, I just talked about what you can say about yourself if it is being asked. Next to that, you are going to talk about, or you are going to create your own profile. See, like this, like infographics like this. How to create infographics, I'll show you guys. Give me a few minutes, okay? So all this can be done in maybe like 10-15 minutes if you spend the time, okay? So this is about Irfan. I'm just explaining. In your top, like I'm going to show you guys some resume examples also to prepare something like this. But I'll just show you guys like how you can very quickly prepare some attractive profile like this, okay? So you guys can put your photograph in the top, not a photograph like this. I don't find any other photos. I just place this one. You can put some professional photo in your. So this one I'm just explaining for, since I'm playing a role of trainer as well. I'm just taking some casual photo here. But you have to mention some proper photo. So you can just mention your technology expertise what you have. Okay. So the technically like I'm strong in these tools and all. You can put as a logo. Parallelly, you can put this in a text also, because why I'm saying, like these are all logos I just captured. These logos can be mentioned in your resume by getting from here. I'm going to share you guys this content. You guys can separately take these logos and put whatever you are familiar with. So you guys can take these logos and place in your resume like something like this, maybe I would say. So I have taken some of our existing students' resume itself as an example. Okay, I'll be sharing you some of these resumes also. Okay, this resume I'm not going to discuss right now completely, but just I'm showing you guys how you can prepare something like this. You are going to prepare something like this. You are going to mention about you. This part, how you can mention, I'm going to show you guys. You guys are going to mention your own public profile. Okay, your mobile number, your mail ID, your LinkedIn profile, your GitHub profile, your Amazon S3 bucket information. Okay, that part and all we are going to enrich. The GitHub profile and all you are going to enrich. GitHub could be like your own page, you can say. You have a website means that is GitHub, you can say. How I'm going to show you guys, give me a minute. Okay, so professional summary, what I have even mentioned in a different way. So whichever is suitable for you, you just start mentioning. So this is what I am just asking you to even explain. If you guys are being given more time, saying like if the interviewer is not stopping you, saying hey, enough, let's go into the part of discussion. Like this, if he is not going to stop you, you keep something in your mind of what you're going to explain from this professional summary also, or the daily roles and responsibility also, what you're going to play. So I'm just mentioning here how you can just mention these logos and everything in your resume. Maybe you can see one more format. I'm going to show you guys a lot of good formats. You can see, looking at this profile, you can feel more comfortable, right? You can say like, hey, these are all the technologies I work. You can categorize and put, or you can put altogether big data technologies. These are all the technologies I work by copying the logos. Actually, this is the way you can mention in your resume, right? So you see, this resume seems to be attractive for me. Actually speaking, this is a resume what I got from one of the vendor to get him interviewed. I found like this candidate is going to do very well, right? I thought in that way by looking at his resume, but he was not. He don't have any knowledge in these technologies. It's not like, but my mindset. Really speaking, guys, I'm not just saying for a reason of just telling you. Really speaking, I really found these people are this person is going to be get selected. Let me just select him. Like this I thought actually originally by looking at his resume, but I did not found such a like a knowledge from this guy. So I just did not pick him actually for that other company. So what I'm trying to say here is I will be sharing you all these logos. You guys are going to furnish in a Word document. I'll be explaining about how do you just create the Word document and all by this way. Okay, you can mention your or show your like photograph in the top, in the left side or somewhere else before when you mention your name. And parallelly, when you mention your name, you can just put something like this also. So just see here, you are a data enthusiast, or you are a continuous learner, you are an aspiring professional. You can mention in the top with your photograph, you can mention in the down or above or below your name. You can just mention what is your or what you are doing. You can mention even in your role also. If you are a manager, if you are into support, don't mention like senior architect or support personnel or whatever it may be. Just don't mention your designation. You mention as a role saying data enthusiast or a data engineer or whatever. You are not having possessing a designation of data engineer. You are possessing a you are playing a role of data engineer. You can say in that way. So the interviewer might not be thinking about hey, are you a data engineer or a support personnel or a testing personnel? You may have it in your mind like saying, hey, I'm a tester. How can I mention myself as a data enthusiast? It's all about just you are explaining about yourself in a better way. It's not a designation. What I'm saying, I'm not a data enthusiast designated person, right? You can mention in that way. Okay, let me stop with one more explanation of this one, right? We will continue tomorrow, right? Whatever I told, right? I just converted that in my resume. What are all the language expertise I have, right? Declarative or function based. How do you prepare all this? How do you create this and put it in a Word document that I'll show you guys? Or even you can convert this into a kind of a PDF as well, right? If I want you to make this as a PDF, go and save this as a PDF. Save it as a kind of a okay. Actually, like okay, this is a bit older version of Office. Okay, you can just directly go and save us as a PDF of this document also. I'll show you guys maybe like how the profile of our Inceptez course content I'll prepared. I prepared in this way only. Okay, I'll just explain about that one, guys. Okay, so the domain expertise and your like a key technology expertise you can mention in this way. If you just look at this, right? Finance is the initial domain I started with. Oracle Linux development I was into for about 2 years. Then I moved into media, telecom, and logistics domain, and I worked for about 8 years with ETL and with database experience or DB2 experience or whatever it may be. Then I moved towards telecom, right? Like this, or I was in the telecom only with the big data analytics experience for about 6 years. Okay, what is this, whatever this, I mean, like QR code. If I take my phone, let me stop with that one today. So if I open an application like QR scanner, you can see here, right? QR scanner is the app that I have just downloaded. So if I open the QR scanner app, and if I'm going to scan that, even interviewer may show interest in doing this. So it's asking me to open a link, GitHub link actually. So if I just open the GitHub link, you can see the code of whatever I have written and everything. github.com/Mohammed Irfan. You can see this link, which contains all my code, whatever I have did and I have exported. So I have really seen some people mention their GitHub link in the resume like this. You can click on this link and you can go and see what are the code you have developed actually, right? So this part we are going to do even in a later point of time, right? But however, I'm just saying automatically the interviewer can able to go and see your work, what you guys have did. So these are all the repositories, what all the work you have did so far. All these they can able to see actually. You got an idea? So we are going to create something like this in a later point of time. You guys can create your own profile and put all your work, what you guys have did. What are the collaborative directory I asked you guys to push all your code, right? That you guys are going to push it into GitHub in a later point of time. Okay, guys, fine. I'll stop with this today because I have to continue with the regular weekday session, right? The weekend people who are, or I'll just close this, whatever the, I mean, like, the screen share or whatever, right? The meeting I'll close and I'll just open it again. So I did not find a huge time today, guys, to discuss more about it. I have a lot to discuss. So I encourage your attendance. Maybe like in a week, we can attend at least 2 days like this. Maybe it's very hard only. Even I used to sleep till 7:45 and wake up and get ready and start the class by 8 o'clock usually. I found even hardness of waking up 1 hour earlier. But however, let's do this exercise. It's going to really help us, okay, altogether. Okay, so let's go and work on this part, guys. This is going to really help you guys. I'm just putting my personal effort in the previous day night or in the subsequent previous days nights and all to prepare all this for you guys, and I want to make you guys prepare also the same thing. Okay, this infographics and all I want you guys to put in your resume. You guys for now can do something. Get some better photographs of you. Create one document and start explain about yourself in that document. Maybe I can share you this one, right? And you guys create your own QR code. How do you create your own QR code? I have mentioned that in the down. I have a site like the QR code generator or something like that. You can go here and mention the URL or the name what you have and create a QR code for you, right? This is how you can create. So maybe like we will continue on this tomorrow on how you guys can do all this, right? Let's be unique, okay? Let's create some attractive stuff. Let me stop the chat today, guys, and we will continue. Tomorrow on the same part, and I want to progress further. Okay, thanks, guys. Please